Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about variables and exactly what variables are and how they work in programming. Variables at the core are just containers for data. Rather than being extremely verbose and always having to justify the data and its value, as an example, I have a quantity of 3 of type apples. You can just say that the variable apples equals 3. This essentially just puts that number of 3 into a variable called apples. So whenever you call apples, you will get the number 3. This makes keeping track of things a lot easier. Now, depending on the language, there are different kinds of variables, but as we're going to be using JavaScript, we will sort of generalize to those types. There are many different types of variables, but we're going to go just over a few basic ones. One of the first ones we can look at here is the string variable. A string variable is any type of letter or a word or a whole sentence, as long as it's encapsulated in quotes. Now these can be double or single quotes. One of the next variables then is going to be numbers. This can be any digit, whether it's 1, 200, 800, or in this case 135, as long as it is a whole number. The next one is a float. Float are numbers that have the decimal place, or point in this case. They tend to be used for a fairly low number of places after the decimal, so in this case 1.98. Doubles are extremely close to floats, with the main difference being that doubles are just more precise. So you can get a lot more places after the decimal place just for like higher precision programming. Now, while this may not be all the variable types that are out there, this is generally going to be all the ones that you would use in your daily usage. In JavaScript, it is very easy to create a variable. All you need to do is provide the assignment keyword. In this case, we will use let, then followed by the name of the variable. So we can just say variable, and then the assignment operator. So that is an equal. So you're essentially saying let this variable equal, and let's just say a variable. And that's it. You have now literally assigned a variable, and there it is. Now that the basic variables have been described, we can move on to the slightly more advanced ways of storing data. The most common one of those being an array. This is essentially a variable where you can store multiple bits of data in it, but always reference only that one name. To explain this a bit better, we've got two arrays here. We have array numbers, which is a set of numbers that are stored. You'll see most languages use brackets to notate that there is an array, but just as an example, you can also store strings inside an array. Here you can see we have the word sum, kind, and words. This is also put into the array. So as an example, we can go with the array of numbers. So index 0, in JavaScript, all indexes start from 0. Now, most programming languages will start at 0, but there are programming languages such as Lua that have all the indexes start at 1. But as this is JavaScript, we're going to go with 0. So in this case, index 0 is going to be the number 100, index 1 is going to be 22, index 2 is going to be 35, index 3 will be 47, and index 4 is 125. Likewise with array strings, sum is an index 0, kind is an index 1, and words is an index 2. Now we can also see that if we use the console.log like we did in the first video, this will just print out to the console in the browser. So if we go back to those, we'll see of array numbers, we are printing out position 2. That would be the number 35. And for array strings, we are printing out index 1, which would be kind. If we now switch over to our thing here, you will see that it says 35 and the word kind.